Sorry about that.
You're good. I ended up starting the stream.
Sorry about
We're
that.
you're good. I ended up starting the stream. Um, I need to mute the damn thing.
Hello.
Heaven,
Hey, Heaven.
just in time.
How goes? Of course.
Very punctual of you. Your yawns are have melody still. What the fuck? The faintly
Final
yawns.
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
Oh, Final Fantasy.
I have like 30 missions, 30
Okay.
main story quest
Are you,
lines
gonna,
to go through.
are you gonna do it while we're doing the podcast?
No. Too many cutscenes to pay attention to.
Yeah, 100%.
There's always a skip button.
I'm just saying that's where my brain's at. I'm not trying to skip main story quest line. It's a new expansion.
I want to play it so bad, but I'm so busy. I started 2 new jobs this week, so it's been crazy.
What jobs?
I'm helping out at a gym, so that I can potentially
What kind of
sleep.
gym? Like a fire gym, water gym, psychic gym?
Dude, I'm totally all about like the
You
dark gyms.
really, Heaven? We all know you're a psychic, Jim.
I
No, I
would
could see a dark gym.
like I would
Wait,
love I would if Pokemon were real, I would totally be all about that dark type. That would be great.
why do I feel like you be a dragon leader for some reason? I'm trying to think of
I would also do that.
most like heavenly characters or Digimon. Damn it, I have it on the brain. Pokemon, and then I'm thinking, oh wait, dragons, because like every
That
single
doesn't really fit dragons.
really
Dragons are edgy.
no.
Like,
Dragons
think
are
about all the dragon trainers. Like Lance, you have
Lance
uh,
Claire.
Claire.
Okay, hold on. What's her
Yeah.
face from Black and White is not edgy.
Oh, what is her name? She has blonde hair. She's freaking edgy too. What are you talking about?
What?
No, you're talking
Who?
about Cynthia. Cynthia's not a
I'm
dragon
I'm
trainer.
I'm thinking Cynthia. Yeah, you're right. She isn't
Yeah,
a dragon trainer.
I'm talking about the person from the anime who was the dragon trainer. She traveled with Ash.
Never watched it.
I don't remember that one.
Hold on, I'll go find a picture of him as soon as I um fix something
Talking
with
about
the
like the
anime.
little kid one.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember playing that gym. The gym itself is pretty edgy.
Really?
Mhm.
I think they put that gym leader there specifically to be a contrast to that stereotype that was built up.
I I freaking love Pokemon.
Pokemon?
Seriously though, like I've going through and I've put like almost 200 hours into just Soul Silver right now. I'm not even past uh I'm not even to like Violet City for the first gym. I've just been so what have you been doing? I've been catching all the Pokemon that I want to, and then I'm EV training them first so that I can just play with whatever Pokemon I want to, and I can just have sweeper Pokemon.
I have
Just
well
catching
over
Lugia first.
I have Lugia, yeah, but
he's the
I'm
one to
not gonna
catch.
use them until later. So since it's on my computer, I can I can just catch whatever Pokemon I want to, and I obviously people can be like, well, you can exploit that too, and just catch whatever level Pokemon you want. But I've caught every Pokemon that I want at like level 5, just like my starter. So I'm like, well, I have a Shinx, or I have a Hondour, and so I've just been training them up how I want to. So they're all like level 10 or 11 because I'll set something that I could EV train for, like so I'll just encounter a victory bell or something like that in the tall grass, and it'll give me like the 3 attack stuff, and so I'll just do that over and over and over again. So I fight like I've killed hundreds of victory bell and Vileplume because they're the special, and then jump pluff. Those are my 3 that I just murk over and over because I have a problem.
Putting me into the Pokemon days.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll tell you this right
I
now.
haven't started that up in a while.
I have well over 800 hours into Crystal alone. Just Crystal. Because of all the
Oh,
speed runs I've done, trying to figure out the best way to get it under 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
So what
The
about for a single save? What's the longest time you've done for a single save?
I have 100% of the game, so it was 275 hours.
The longest run I've gone on a single save is easily a couple thousand hours.
I know my Emerald save alone was probably 200 plus hours because I spent countless hours trying to beat those stupid fucking Battle Frontier bosses. You have to
Yeah, I
fight
think
7.
Emerald I put in 330 hours roughly.
Now I beat the game and way quicker than that. Like I'll beat the game
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
like yeah, I'll beat the game really quick. It's just what I do after that because I'll try to get all of my Pokemon up over like 50, 60, 70. And so I'll just, I'll go and nuke the Elite Four and use them as a little grind stuff. I can just get Pokemon leveled. But yeah,
P1.
it actually stops recording after 999.9. So be like, oh, how many hours
Somehow
do
I
you have?
believe that.
It has
I believe that.
999 and it won't go over it. And like I don't know about the later ones, but like for sure, like Diamond Pearl and all those, yeah. That's where it stops because I don't think they would think, oh, no one's gonna actually play this that long, right?
Right.
Wrong. So
The because I sometimes sit there and I'm like, for you, Kyle. As I told you, our original Pokemon MMO guild died. It got shut down by its original leader, and it's really sad. But they created a new one from it, and ironically called it From the Ashes. Um, and I've been having that inkling to be in there, but unfortunately, I'm now playing Mega Man again, which is my childhood game. Period. So that's gonna take all my brain space for the next like 6 years.
Yeah, Final Fantasy has a 3 month subscription out of me, so I'm gonna be on that for about 3 months.
there you go. You may as well.
You mean until the
Uh,
League MMO comes out, right?
Yeah, that's not coming out in the next 3 months.
They'll
That is
release.
not coming out in the next 3 months.
They're gonna release a closed alpha we can all pitch into.
are they for sure releasing them now though?
No.
Listen, if they release an alpha, I damn sure know none of us are getting in that. And if one of us do, and it's not me, I'm definitely gonna be salt.
I bet I have a chance. I
What are
got
your
some connections.
qualifications? What connections? I know more League people than you do. Sorry, more Riot people than you do.
No,
I
I
think that
have
if
some
they were
connections on
smart, they
the.
wouldn't just have Riot people. They'd probably have people that I don't know.
I
I don't know. I don't know if I
I
want to do the League MMO.
I definitely do. Ah, give me the chance. Like, let me, just please let me be some form of fucking Shuriman. Just let me be in Shurima. Let me be a whole ascended. Please, just let that be a category. If I can be ascended, I will be so happy. Or because it differentiates. If you could become ascended, you can also become a darken.
Yeah,
Like
potentially.
that's why I want the League MMO because the lore it's there. It's already like the class system is
Yeah, there's
there.
a mass amount of lore. that's already built.
I think that
But what they're doing,
yeah.
that they actually said they had to kind of go in the dark about it because people were putting too much pressure on them, and they don't want to make
The
just
same
another
kind.
MMO
They want to make
like
it
every
completely
other
different.
MMO's out.
Like look at TFT, Auto Chess and Dota already existed. They made TFT and revolutionized Auto Chess, and now all you hear about is just TFT. You don't even hear about the other ones anymore. You don't even hear about the original Auto Chess. So they know what they're doing. So I trust them on this because well, with the exception of Runeterra, because I think the card game society is kind of dying already. They changed the game with League, they changed the game with Valorant, they changed the game with TFT. So yeah, their MMO is probably going to be the big one. And hell, look how they do everything else. Music, the show, definitely the show.
They have to be really careful because so I'm interning at a company, uh, and they make mobile game apps. Like quite a few of the people at the company, they've worked on like Transformers and Resident Evil and like other movies and like design stuff, which is great. But you have to be careful, and I think that Riot's gonna have to do it too. The biggest thing is that yeah, sweet, we have a new MMO, and then the big question will be like, why should I play that over other games? Why should I play an MMO that you're gonna make over other games? And to be fair, like people are gonna check it out, but why stay? And so they have to make sure that it's unique enough. They have to have a lot of different things.
Oh, I
Uh,
trust Riot to be able to handle that. That's why they
Now,
said we're probably not going to have anything to say for like 5 years. They
yeah,
now,
said
and
it's going to be a long hiatus.
which is good, and I have hope for it. I just don't know what like mechanics or how they're gonna do it. If they do it well, sweet, I'll definitely play it. I want them to be able to do it well. That's the thing. This is and again, this is one of the things that like I like it. We're like interning at this game program thing. So I'm not a game designer, but I'm a game designer. And so, like, I'm not doing any of the coding stuff because I just didn't learn that. But I can definitely tell a story if it's gonna go anywhere. And so, like you have to sell. I don't know. There's so many stuff to it. I have so many thoughts on this company that I'm kind of
I
interning for. I'm so
Yeah, game
excited.
design is more than just programming the game. There's also level design, there's UX, there's how you interact with the world.
Oh yeah, and there's
Like it's
like
more than just programming.
it's so much, and like I'm not again I'm not a level designer either, but I am a story person. I am a visual person. I'm a sounds
Mhm.
person. And so like they're like, okay, you have to get excited about this app that we're wanting you to help develop with us. I'm like, okay, sweet. You have to realize that I've done this for like 9 years of just like literal like this is what my expertise is in. Sweet. I haven't been like working for a company for 9 years, but that doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about whenever I'm like, hey, this game of yours is cool, but it's not gonna get the traction you think it will unless you change certain things. But it's very hard for me to just say that as an intern. Because what clout do you have as just an intern?
well, so Heaven, do you remember I think it was when Endwalker was announced to be released. Do you remember the gigantic movement between Warcraft to Final Fantasy 14?
Yeah, where they're just kind of there's a whole exodus of players.
Yeah, that I feel like that's what you're talking about right there. Is that it's like Final Fantasy 14 was still there, but then Endwalker was released, and then suddenly, for some reason, everyone wanted to play that game. They were like, "We're switching over." Even who's that really big WoW streamer? Starts with an A.
Asmongold.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Even he was talking about it too, and I sat there. It's like it's the
Well,
same
when you
thing.
don't get when you don't give certain things to the gaming community, they'll vote with their wallets and they'll go other places. So it's certain games they're like, well, like you either get stale or there's drama that goes on in games kind of there, and then another game that doesn't. It's the Baldur's Gate 3 phenomenon. Whenever that thing came out and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this is so well made. It's complete." Well, yeah, back before we had computer games, like real computer games, you had console games, and whenever Halo came out, it was a full game that was completed, and so it was really awesome. Halo didn't come out in no alpha or beta and just be like, okay, we're gonna update this over the next 5 years,
We're gonna
and
change the
we'll
game.
make it into a full game. It wasn't like that, and so when Baldur's Gate 3 came out, of course, everyone's like, yo, this is amazing. And then you have companies that are like, oh, that's not the norm. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's not the norm because you're just trying to rip people off in a lot of ways, and so it's the exact same thing. Like the games that give people what they want to have and are actually putting in a good product and going above and beyond are the ones that are gonna have the player count. That's just kind of how it is.
So getting back on task, the
Sorry.
podcast.
Well, we technically have been doing what we said we were gonna do, just not the right subjects.
Well, are you actually streaming and the
Yes.
topics are going?
I told you I started at 10. I started at 11.
Ah,
So
I mean, we could just keep talking.
it's been working, but we can actually switch over to a topic. But I also wanted Heaven to be our intro guy because Heaven has the best ASMR. Heaven,
I do.
do we
How do you want
do?
me to intro?
Hey, I was gonna say I know it's not monotone there.
All right. I'll do my little intro that I do for YouTube channel. What's up, fam? My name is the Elementalist. You can call me Heaven. And welcome to our fun little podcast. It's called Two and a Half Dads. We're going to be talking about the craziest and whatever things could really come to our mind. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're here, thank you very much. We appreciate you. If you have any thoughts or comments, definitely throw them into the chat. We can talk. We can talk about any of your thoughts too, as we're just kind of how should I say this? Moseying through various topics. So sit back, relax, enjoy your morning. Well, wherever it may not be morning where you are if you're listening in, because I know that it's morning where I'm at, but I'm in a very different location than some other people. So
It's still
either
morning
way,
here.
thank you.
It's 11.
Good morning, Saturdays. Huh. All right, there you go.
Okay, Kyle. Do you think you could do better?
Of course. You
Welcome,
can.
everyone. There we
That's
go.
it.
That is my succinct intro.
Short and sweet.
Oh, okay. Well, let's push on.
Also, I'm Kyle Crispin. Always have been, except until before I stole the name Crispin. But that's for another day.
I'm Nexus. That's all you get from me.
I'm just Heaven.
Are you Heaven or a little slice of Heaven?
Yes.
Ooh.
I guess I could just go by Crispin if we're all going by IGN.
Yeah. I thought we discussed that.
Set that precedent. I mean, not officially. Just kind of in chatter here and there.
I don't think it really matters that much. It's just easier for me. It
We-
rolls off the tongue easier for me.
I would say let's call each other by our last names, but mine is hard to pronounce, and I don't know your last name, Heaven.
I think I've seen it once.
Yeah, I think you've seen it once. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it before.
I think it was whenever you were
last name-
doing a stream, like some sort of almost fundraiser stream. I
Oh
think I
yeah,
saw it mentioned
definitely.
somewhere around there, and I've forgotten it ever since.
Yeah, I think I did. That was a while ago.
Oh, I knew I forgot something. Damn, I forgot Nightbot.
I really need to get back into streaming. I'm actually super excited just to be able to sit and talk and podcast stuff because it's just I don't know, it's fun. I need to talk with other individuals that aren't 5-month-old little children. But
You got to
they're
socialize.
yeah, I gotta socialize with
What
other
do you
with other
mean?
actual
Dude, I
people.
know your daughter's giving you great conversations.
Oh, hello.
Oh, heaven. Did I tell you the gender of my child?
Yes. No, wait. Did you? I have to check now. I
You
want
have
to
to check.
say it 100% you did, yeah. Because I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure I told Bronte.
Yeah, I do remember
Yeah,
telling you.
yeah, you did. You totally did.
So what you're saying is our daughters are gonna have play dates, and now Nexus needs to go adopt a dog
Y
or something.
yeah.
I'll go work on a
No,
child. Shut the
that'd
fuck
be
up.
so fun. Yeah, she's gotten to the point where, well, she's always just been really smiley, whenever she sees me, but she can now grab both of her feet, and she'll be so close to rolling over now. And we've been trying to teach her how to sleep, not like super wrapped up, so she has her arms free, which has been a problem because she'll slap herself awake all the time. But she's getting better at it, which is great. And it's weird because obviously none of us remember when we were babies, but like I'm sure that we all had the same problem where when we weren't wrapped up, we would just slap ourselves awake. Can you imagine if we were like that? Like if babies and like adults were a lot more similar like that. Like you're just like, okay,
Flailing
I'm gonna go
limbs
take a nap,
everywhere.
and then 10 minutes later, you wake yourself up and start to cry because you slapped yourself in the face.
Listen, I remember my first words. They were "gaw."
You remember your first words, huh?
Fuck no. I know my dad recorded them though. I could probably get that tape actually. Not gonna lie. And yes, we are that old. I said videotape. Age
You
of
had a
just.
videotape. People were using cuneiform to write about my childhood.
Did you just what? Really? Oh, you're not that old.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Totally that old.
Man's back from the old Babylon days. We use cuneiform here, people. God damn it.
Yeah, I can hold her.
Right on stone tablets.
Hi there, little one. I have a little I have a little girl that I get a hold for just a moment. She's having her bottle filled. Do you want to say hello, baby? Say hello.
Gah.
Hello.
Gah.
Oh, I heard it. You want to say hello?
God damn
Wow, you are definitely pulling on the mic there. Isn't that right, baby?
it. Dude, like this will be my setup one day.
Yeah,
But yeah,
there's
it's
my
interesting about to be a new father because I remember on the train hearing some guys talk about their kids and how they're doing soccer and whatnot and doing all these other sports, and I'm just sitting there like, who is my child gonna be? I
Tony.
know for
Those
the longest time I'm gonna be the one handwriting their name, but when they handwrite their own name, what is that even gonna look like?
Scratch. For the most part.
Who will they develop to be,
oh
and how will
yeah.
I develop
So
it?
yeah, I don't know what little girl's gonna be doing. Um, she could be doing something that's completely different from me, or she could follow after me. Who knows?
I
All
now
I
I
mean,
know
I
feel
is
could
whenever the
pressured.
volleyball
Riot
too.
MMO comes out, I'm getting my daughter out of school for at least a week.
You
Yeah,
told
there
me
you
about
go.
this. Dude, I'm feeling pressured now to have a girl because you two have one. Make just complete the damn circle. It's like that video of these the two people discussing their relationship. And he's like, I want two boys. I see what I can do. I was like, yeah, I need a daughter. Let's make it happen. Just a daughter.
Obviously eh, sadly you don't get to choose. It's really just your
What do you mean? Every single like customization game lets you customize your gender. Right there.
uh
E- Every
I don't
final
know.
every Fallout game, you get to pick who you are. That's a baby.
Um, but
Fallout 3.
yeah, I know that Bronte's like, well, I think it'd be fun to have some little boys too, and it's true. It would be good to have a little boy. Because this is one of the things that who was saying it? I forget who was saying it, but like humans need to learn to live beyond themselves, and one of the greatest manifestations of that is having a child because all of a sudden your legacy can become essentially eternal with that because progeny is that, right? Like somewhere down the line you have to like cuz so like let's say like I mean there's people that don't have kids, and that's okay. Some people aren't able to have kids. But the individuals that they interact with, because I know some of my friends can't have kids, so they've adopted or something like that. It literally like their legacy continues on infinitely because of it. It's a really interesting kind of thing, um, because I'm gonna die one day, but my little kids are gonna live
Inherit your
on.
YouTube channel.
Oh, they get the whole dang thing,
That was
right?
I watched this one YouTuber and they actually had this discussion one day. It's like if you're a YouTuber or a streamer and you have children, will they inherit your YouTube channel? And I sat there and I was like, damn, that's kind of a weird thought to think about because unlike other jobs, the channel's always there. The videos are always there. And unless you're certain people, what do you do when you're done? Do you give it to them? Because you could just let them inherit it and see how well they do it.
Well, there's
I
also a
think
lot
you
of people that are good at.
could pass it on, but it'll probably be more so kind of like how music artists, they don't really pass their songs to their children unless it's like
Unless you're Will Smith.
they might have a message in a song to pass on to them, but they don't pass on the rights to that song to them.
Oh, like
Yeah.
that Eminem
So it's
song.
probably something along those lines.
Yeah, I would think the same thing. Like, there's also those people that are like, listen, I've been doing YouTube because it's earned me money, but it's been stressful for me, and I don't know if I wasn't able to earn money, if I would ever do it again. There's been enough people that are like that, and they're like, you know what, or that are quitting YouTube too after like a while. And it's just like, like I what I want to do is like I want to be able to give my child choice. So whatever I do, I don't want my children to inherit that. I want them to be able to have the choice to do what they wish to do and have the freedom to be able to do it. And that's why I do what I do now. So whatever comes, they'll have that choice. It's like so there was one of the quotes. I think it was by one of the founding fathers where they said that they would much rather learn war so that their children could learn science and math. And
I
that
feel
that
like that's
that
a.
for some reason, that quote's always stuck with me.
I
I
feel
think
like
that's
that's
a
a.
little
Ben
different
Franklin.
though.
Oh, it's different. I'm just trying to draw comparisons there.
Because you can think about building up your own person, building up your name, building up your wealth in a sense, and then passing that on, letting your children inherit that. But then ultimately, you have to make peace with it's going to be their decision as to what to do with their inheritance.
Yeah, that is true. I just want
Well,
them to be able
whenever
to
you
have an
talk about
inheritance.
learn war so that our future generations can learn science and math, that's more so they have the choice to learn science and math.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
Because
meaning, is I wanna give them the choice.
yeah, so there's a little bit of nuance to expand on that is that the war is not the founding fathers' choice,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
they learned it because they had to be successful so that the future generations have the choice.
yep, and that's precisely, like, one of the biggest things. So what is it? So, like, all the work that I'm doing now, like, hopefully in X amount of time, like, it'll open up economic opportunities. So like, I want to do this, or I want to do this, or I want to be able to have this, I want them to be able to have that. It's the whole concept. I want to give my children more than I ever had, and the sacrifices I make, I want to be able to make so that they don't have to necessarily make the same sacrifices. Because there's the whole possibility of the sacrifices I make today will open doors for later generations that they don't have to necessarily make that same sacrifice. Like, I'm a military family right now, all right, or so that other people, so that kids down the line don't necessarily have to be military families. Kind of along those lines a little bit. So that's just thoughts that I've had, especially having kids. I say kids. Having kid.
Kids come future.
I'll be having kids. We were
Yeah,
talking about having two
that's awesome.
4, 6,
because
8.
Nancy, she can't imagine growing up not having siblings.
Oh, 100%. Like, whenever there's one, there
Oh
usually is
yeah,
another.
no. As
I
a
mean, I
person
grew up
with
basically an only child, but I had to make friends and I had to find people that I just coincidentally trust, and they became basically siblings and family. We went over to each other's houses and we called all of our moms just, "Hey, mom."
Take note, Kyle just called us friends. Holy shit.
I would call so I had quote other moms and other dads, and that's what I would usually call them. I'm like, hey other mom or hey other dad. And I had like 4 or 5 of them because I would live at my friends' houses, and so like,
I did that too. And here's the thing, I accidentally said that in front of my mom because I would spend so much time over at when I was with my mom in America. I spent a lot of time with friends or other families, like my cousin's family, and I would say how much I would enjoy it, and she would get very pissy about it. She did not like me comparing the families, and I did compare the families a lot because sometimes, like, I sat there, I was like, "Why don't we eat around the table anymore?" And she's like, "Because I don't want to." And when I was over at my cousin's house, we'd always eat around the table. Or I was with my friend Tyler, and we would eat in his room. We would all eat together because his mom was always working. So it was, you know, it was just one of those things.
Maybe in the future it shouldn't be eat around the table, but you just eat in community. Go eat
Community.
outside. Yeah, because that's essentially what the table is you're just sitting around your family and you're
yeah,
communing.
the
Well,
table is the designated communal spot. Like, what if you don't have a table? Well, then the living room carpet is your communal spot, you know,
I
and so
want to
that it's just a
say,
designated spot.
that is something that used to happen, and it's now dying out for some reason because I've done it before. Like those,
Done what?
what you guys are talking about, like eating with the community or eating as a community, like not just family, just friends, neighbors, stuff like that. But stuff like that you don't just see anymore.
It's
Well, I
because
think
most of
you
the
do.
time when we're eating, now we want to occupy our brain with videos and media or reading. We just want to put our brain somewhere else while we're eating.
Mhm. Yep.
And we don't really, as a society, kind of communicate face to face as nearly as much anymore. I mean, we still do, but it's it's going to be interesting whenever we start to see a generation where everybody's eating, but then they have VR headsets on and they're with their community in a different sense.
I
Too
don't
late.
think that we'll ever actually reach to that point, and if we do, well, I
We won't
there's
experience it. We'll see
No.
it though.
yeah,
Yeah.
there I have to asterisk that. I think because the moment that there's a community that hits that, it won't be sustainable, and because there are consequences for those kind of actions, and like the family that does that can't ever really stay together because they'll start to fragment there too. Because what anchors are you having? You know, like if my meal time together with quote family, right, is just consists of me eating and sustaining myself, but then I'm just in this virtual reality, my connections aren't to the family, and I can do that anywhere. And so how often do you think those families will actually enforce those things, right?
You might get some families that would, weirdly enough, probably try to meet the next generations on that level and join like a VR room with them while they eat.
That was my
But
dad.
I
it
am
wasn't
cool and hip.
it's not it's not
I
gonna be just VR, but it'll also be AR.
Oh,
We're gonna be wearing
glasses.
AR glasses, and we'll be able to sit at the dinner table and, like, play Connect 4 while eating with our family.
Connect
So you're
Four.
saying in our lifetime we're gonna have Back to the Future technology?
There are articles that are saying they've been saying this for years, mind you, but they're like, well, it's possible that the human body will actually become infinite. We won't actually die anymore with illness or even old age. And the reason that some of these articles have been saying that is because they say that we will get to a point technologically where the medical advances are going to be advancing so fast that we will be able to stave off old age essentially,
Not in
which is
our lifetime.
interesting. That I'm
It
just
might
saying,
actually be in our lifetime, it'll just be near the
Really?
end
You think in our
because 'cause I've
lifetime?
yes,
seen the research on that.
yeah, and like obviously, like there's there's a lot of things with that, but I can see why they would make those claims, 100%, because like look at the things that they're able to do now. Like they're like they like there's research on like, hey, you want to have a kid? Well, let's what kind of eye color do you want them to have? We can literally customize your kid in, in conception so that they don't have any of those like types of genes that would make them susceptible to things. You can literally dictate how your kid looks, which is, I think that's still a slippery slope,
Real
but I
life
mean, like
customization
technology can do
menus.
it, like
That's like
technology might
borderline
be able to make,
eugenics, isn't it?
yeah,
Yes,
yes,
100%.
essentially, which is a slippery slope too, because like, okay, how long do you play God before, before like, calamities start to happen in society?
Because it's
Doesn't
gonna be labeled.
Switzerland or Sweden do something similar
They're
when it comes
close
Yeah,
to
to
it.
children with Down syndrome?
I want to say it's Switzerland that does that. I need to check now.
Not Sweden.
Because Down syndrome is a pretty heavy genetic
Trait.
uh, disorder.
They're.
Yeah, it's
I'm.
the designer babies. That's what they call them.
Yikes! That name.
Just
We.
slap some Louis Vuitton on that forehead.
Jesus, we needed to
Well,
figure out a better
well,
name than
that's what
that.
they would be though. Well, yeah, but that's what they would. That's what because there's always going to be two camps, right? There's always going to be the people that are like, hey, let nature take nature, like let nature go, like nature does, and there's going to be the people that are like, actually, I just want to be able to. I want to be able to. But you see that even today too. Like how many parents are like, oh no, my children already believe this. I'm like, yeah, your children are 4. Of course they're going to believe whatever they're told, right? Like they aren't the children until they get to a certain age are legitimately a one like an echo of
Gullible.
a parent. Well, yeah, they're not only gullible, like heck, I taught my little nieces and nephews. I was like, yeah, um, kiwis you have to pet because they like to have their fur pet, and so they'll sometimes purr if you do it enough,
you
right?
told you
And they
taught
And
your
once it's
nephew.
purring, it's ripe, right?
yeah,
Jesus.
but, like, the thing is that they believe that, so whenever that you have these kids like, these parents like, "Oh, no," like, you can say that with a lot of things, especially a lot of the, like, the I won't get in any political things because I hate that stuff, but, like, that's essentially the thing, like, children are echoes of the parents throughout life, but they are legitimate, like, 100% echoes of a parent until they get to a certain age because that's whenever they start to diverge and have their own personality and their own opinions and their own likes and dislikes really start to flavor who they are. I've
You
seen
know,
it. I mean, there's 9 kids in my family. So, like, I've definitely seen that in my
Too many in
life.
mine. Don't even ask.
so a
Gal.
little slight off topic on that. With
It was.
children being echoes, I know growing up, I'm not really that much of an echo of my mom, but I'm a lot more like my grandmother. And
Did you spend time around her a lot?
I don't. I spent time around my uncle a lot, but the way that I thought about it is like I definitely spent a lot more time around my mom than my grandma. But
Mhm.
the way I thought about it is the genetic material is to my DNA is more closely provided by my grandmother because my mom is born with the eggs rather than producing the eggs throughout her lifetime.
I can see that.
So there is
I
genetic influences, and then there's uh, DNA memory. I guess that's what it is. The whole topic of Assassin's Creed, tapping into DNA to go into your ancestral memory.
yeah,
Some
my
of that I think does have an influence. I don't know how real that is, but I've seen people try to study it, and I kinda do lean on the side that that is more likely a case than not.
Well, there's other things about that because like with me, for instance, I have a very rare genetic trait. I have recessive genes coming from beyond my grandparents because there are a lot of features that I have that don't relate to my parents at all, but they are biologically my parents, and they don't relate to my grandparents either. So There are cases where sometimes it goes back even further. It's just the fact that it's just like, here, right there, you're it. You're gonna get these traits. Your children are probably not gonna get them. Even your grandchildren are probably not gonna get them, but you got them. Like for
Well, that's
instance, the
normal,
feet.
bro.
My feet are gigantic.
Like
And that
like
has
my
And
been
I
dad, he has copper hair, or he had copper hair. Way back in the
does he
day.
conduct electricity?
I was
Totally,
gonna
dude. I'm
I was gonna
surprised
say
you
does
went
he
there.
arrest people, but okay. We went there too.
No, so he has copper colored hair,
So it's
and
blue?
it no, it is like you'd normally see copper in the wild. Um,
I
it's
actually have a
this.
copper rock.
There you
Really?
go. Yeah. So,
Damn. Send me a picture of that actually.
Yeah, let me pull it out.
Can you see it,
but
Heaven?
none of his family have that same hair color. None of his grandparents have had that same color hair. None of his great grandparents have had that same color hair. But whenever he went, when his mom went and looked through. So my grandma was like looking through like old like records and stuff. And so like it was like a great 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 grandfather had like this violent red hair, and it just manifested in him. It's because all those genes are there. It just,
Uh,
like it's completely randomized. It's really cool to think about
Here,
genetics.
here's a question about that. What color was his parents' hair?
Black.
And blonde?
Oh, it was a really dirty blonde. But yeah, like black and dirty blonde.
Because black and blonde actually has a chance to mutate and be red. Because that's what happened to me.
Oh, there you go.
And I don't have a traditionally ginger hair
He said
tone,
it. He said
but
it.
I said I don't have it. But the way I describe my hair color is it's a spicy brown.
Solus.
Spicy brown.
Yeah.
You're a
That's funny.
you're you're
Spicy.
soulless.
Instead of because I have red tints in my hair too.
You're
Like
a
so, I'm not strawberry blonde. I'm spicy blonde. I like that.
Yeah. Spicy blonde.
Spicy blonde. That's pretty funny.
oh my god. Oh, you showed me the picture. Oh, damn, that
Yeah.
is
It's just a
tiny. How much
legitimate
copper could
copper
you get
rock.
out of how could you get it? How much copper could you get out of that?
I mean, it's pure copper.
Well, like if I were to try to make copper wiring, how much do you think you get out of that?
Oh, you can make a ton.
Just with that rock? Damn.
Oh yeah.
Really?
That's why mineral mining does so well.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy rock too. It's not light.
Wait. Oh, really? How do you think?
Yeah. It's probably about I want to say 3, 4 pounds.
79,000.
Nice.
Yeah, 79,000 pounds.
It's Dwarf Star?
He's just really strong, and so he can just pick it up
Oh,
normally.
I believe it. You should see Kyle in the hospital. Those photos showed off his muscle mass real well.
It was
Oh, that's a cool rock. Yeah. So wifey of mine, we love like she loves rocks. She picks up a rock from every country she's been in. And then
my mom does the
because
same thing.
well, it's funny is that she doesn't label which rock is from where. And so now they're just rocks. And so I'm like, well, babe, she's like, I know that I picked this up from the Red Sea. I just don't know which one is that one. And I'm like,
I keep forgetting your wife is Greek.
more Italian, Mediterranean area. But yeah, I guess Greece is around that area.
I love
But
Mediterranean food.
yeah, that's I think so. Where we're at in Montana, because oh gosh, heaven, you're up in Montana. Yeah, but where we're at, so we're around the Sapphire Mountains. So if you go rock hounding at all, or you go like panning, just randomly, you're not gonna really
Does
find
Aragon live
much
there?
Totally. But you'll find sapphires,
What about
and
Hmm.
so
Targaryen? Do they live there?
the Targaryens, yeah, they're my neighbors.
Tell Lannister house I don't like them.
If okay, if you really want to put your life on the line, then all right. Um, but you can. So like we have like I have small pink sapphires. I want to get a ruby, because rubies are sapphires with chromium in it or something like that.
They're spicy sapphires.
There you go, spicy
Are you
sapphires.
eating
But
these, Kyle? Wait, I forgot. No, that's a spice to his chicken sandwiches.
I could go for a spicy chicken sandwich.
Stop that. You're feeding your addiction. Stop that.
I haven't had one in a
but
while.
anyways, you can totally have like you can totally get these sapphires. Some of them are really really pure, and you can actually get them set because enough jewelers up here will be like, oh, you have a whole bunch of random sapphires. Let's just cut them down, and we'll just place them in a ring for you. So that's what I'm wanting to do for her.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
So what you're saying is whenever I eventually come visit with my daughter, we need to go sapphire panning.
100%. There's so they one of the mines that's up near Phillipsburg or something like that. They just have sacks of just dirt, and you can go through and they try to make it where like, hey, you're guaranteed to get stuff, but there's so many sapphires that are small that are hanging around. They literally just give you a clump of dirt, and they know that there will be sapphires in them. You just have to find them,
Hmm.
and it's fun. So you're just sitting there looking around for stuff, and whenever you do find one, it's so cool. And then
And
they'll
Sounds fun.
actually appraise it for free.
if we strike rich while in the process, who cares?
I don't know if we'll strike it rich per se.
We'll find that one rare sapphire.
Well, that's what people do that for because they have found they've randomly found some really big ones, but since the mining communities are not new, they're old, a lot of the bigger gemstones have already been found. But that being said, the earth is one of the greatest haystacks, in existence. So like you can't say yes, I've found everything when you have like how many metric tons of dirt that are just hanging
Just think,
out.
just think about how much dirt hasn't been panned through at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. I so you speaking of the bottom of the ocean, that for some reason the ocean made me think of space because oh, the last frontier.
Because it's very vast.
Yeah, because we know more about the moon than we do the bottom of the ocean. But it made me think of space because, like, when people are like, "Oh man, we got to go to the moon," I'm predicting, and this is what a whole bunch of other people have already predicted. The moon is going to end up being the base that we're going to go to Mars from, if as technology increases, because that's going to be the first stop.
Because you're
But
going to be
the
able to
moon
put
is
a.
going to be, huh?
I was going to say you're going to be able to put a lot of fuel there, and then launching from there is not going to take a whole lot
Yeah,
because the gravitational force is not that heavy. So yeah, that would make sense.
100%, but there's so many minerals on the moon that are like you want computer chips, you want those kind of things, you want not necessarily gemstones because those are a lot more terra.
Developed.
Yeah, that's very much terra firma developed, but like you want like things that need the metals that
You
go
want
into
raw
making.
elements.
Yeah, they're all on the moon, and so the moon is going to be one of the most lucrative places to mine. And so like science fiction could really actually come true in very big places. It's just like the civilization things. Like we're gonna start once we start being able to planet hop, then we're gonna, start to before we ever go interstellar, it's gonna be like, okay, we gotta start making some Dyson spheres and like start harnessing the power of our star before we can go interstellar. That's super cool. I mean, way beyond my lifetime, but it is nice to think about.
Reminded me of another rock that I have. It's a rock with some opal in it.
Speaking of space and interstellar travel, here's a rock I have.
It's a cool rock.
That's probably true.
And the thing about this rock, it was given to me by this very old Scottish lady
Oh, that's cool.
that that
Sentimental
used
rock.
to be that used to be a babysitter of mine.
Oh, that's very neat. I so when I lived in South America, one of the things that we would rocks like they would be softball size or bigger, and we would so they don't have heating down there really, like as far as like air conditioning or anything like that. So their heating comes from just wood fire stoves kind of thing. And
Right.
so you put the rock, you have a couple of rocks that you put on the stove itself so that you can heat the socks or other cloths, and then you put those in the bottom of your bed. So during the winter time, you have a warm bed.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you have to put them in certain like in those special things because if not, and your foot touches the rock, then you burn yourself. So you don't want to have that happen. But
Also,
totally, I
think Nex is having some audio issues.
Yes,
yeah,
because my podcast turned off for some reason.
Why would you
like
do that?
completely.
Yeah, I have been sitting here saying something and I realized, oh wait, it's not responding. I went to look and I'm like, oh, my broadcast turned off. That's great. Mind the video broadcast, so I wasn't really speaking. That doesn't, don't worry, it doesn't affect the podcast though. We're solid on that. I
I didn't. So
I was
I
Totally
would
us.
want
actually
Summer to be sad.
I was going to say, oh, she'll be fine. Well, no, she's happy. She's happy. I was gonna say, Heaven, did you hear about what Neil deGrasse Tyson said about terraforming Mars? He said the best way to do it would be to drop nuclear winter on the planet and cause all that frozen water to come out. And over the course of, let's say, 50 years, you start to see green. Small, but still green.
So there's other. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson's a smart guy too, but
Love them.
there's also other factors to think about though, because one, let's say you cause nuclear winter somewhere. If there's not H2O in the atmosphere whenever you drop a bomb, it isn't gonna just get created just because you drop a nuke, right? Like there's a whole bunch of stuff like on Europa, like there's a
Chain
whole bunch of
reaction.
ice, but it's methane. They're frozen elements, but they're not water. It's not like frozen H2O. And so like they'd have to seed that the planet with stuff, but if there's already no atmosphere, like sweet, you cause nuclear winter, but it doesn't have an atmosphere. So then why would it stay? And so that you'd have to think about like how are we going what are we going to do to make the atmosphere stay? And that's one of the questions for future people, not me, luckily.
There, uh, damn, I lost it. There's one thing I wanted to run by you guys. Um, if I can just remember, please discuss something while I remember this damn topic.
Um
What about water and ancient rocks? Are you terrified of some prehistoric bacteria coming out and creating some random disease that our bodies know nothing about?
Mm. So,
I'm
yes
not.
and no. You first.
I was just gonna say I'm not just because a lot of times those ancient bacterias are dead. They're not all like tardigrades that just kind of vibe in space. You,
Those water
you know,
bears? My
like
life
yeah,
as a water bear would be great.
yeah.
Ugh.
That'd be such a funny little like. What if someone like made an anime like life of water bear and just a tardigrade vibing across time and space, just like hey, no oxygen, no problem.
You just have one punch man coming in trying to punch it, and he's like, "Nice little
It,
massage here."
yeah, it just
And he's
survived.
floating off into space.
Oh man, One Punch Man. Actually, that was the first anime I got my wife into.
I need to see if there's new chapters. There's like one chapter like every 2 months.
I
Yeah,
stopped reading at 182, and I heard they're already up to 200, so I need to get back into it.
Yeah, they're on 200.
that's crazy.
We're at an interest. They were in the middle of a fight, and I just haven't seen it for months. But
I
that's reminding me of how upset I feel on the hiatus with Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, I'm ready for that
It's
manga.
now a month
Next
later.
chapter.
A whole month
Yeah.
for a
Jujutsu Kaisen's
chapter.
so fun.
Uh,
I love I love anime. I didn't think that I would. I mean, I've always loved anime, but I love it a lot more now. There's so many good animes that are around. I just wish that I wish there's more of them on more accessible streams or not streams, but streaming platforms that I didn't feel I had to be like, "Oh, hey, I have a subscription to this place. I hope that they don't take my info and sell it off to China." Like,
careful.
please don't do that, or please don't sell my info on the dark web.
Please
Like,
ban TikTok.
Oh, your info's already being sold on the dark web. The question
Yeah.
is, how much of it is there?
Yeah, you understand. Sometimes my Google tells me, "Hey, change your password because we found that this many people on the dark web have seen it." I'm like, over 50,000 people have seen it. Either I'm unvaluable or they don't care.
Or they have plenty of other accounts to filter through.
Yeah, one that doesn't
yeah.
have college debt on his ass.
Mm,
Listen, take my debt, please. Just pay it off. Maybe.
I
thing I don't have that.
good thing I don't have a debt.
I hope you all burn.
Hey, Heaven, do you have loans?
I don't actually. That's one of the reasons why I took so long going through school is because I didn't want to have to deal with that.
Smart.
And so I do not have any debt. Knock on wood. But yeah, I don't want to have any other debt at all just cuz so I took longer going through all of my schooling so that I didn't have to really deal with paying back loans because then you're not really free because if you owe stuff to people, are you free? Kind of
Well,
not. Like,
by
it's just
that logic, all the taxes you pay are stuff you owe, so you're never really free.
well, we pay more taxes now than the serfs did in ancient England.
Yeah, I know.
So
Well,
actually, I don't really think I mean, we're free, but we're definitely like economically, we're kind of we get reamed a little bit.
well, Heaven, are you talking
Kinda
about in
hurting.
dollars or in pounds?
What do you mean in dollars or in pounds?
You said ancient Europe.
Well, yeah, but you don't need to do dollars or pounds. You look at the percentage of everything that someone made. So whether or not you're using a certain unit like a certain currency, if someone that lived in the 1500s gave up 15% of all they had and they gave it to the crown, wonderful. But we give 40% or more of every single thing we make to the government. And so it's just a percentages. So if I wanted to, like, and I pay the government all my taxes first, I will work from January to like May or June before I ever see any money that's actually mine.
True.
And so like that's kind of what I mean, which is crazy when you think about it. No one really, I mean, you just got to do the math on it a little bit, and then you're like, oh,
Then you gotta ask,
oh,
what is the government doing to pay that back?
Nothing.
Because
honestly,
the
yeah.
government is designed, or it's supposed to be designed, so that the taxes you go into it goes back to the community in some form or fashion.
Hmm.
A lot of
Nothing.
that just doesn't.
Like a good
Yeah.
example, when I was in high school, they built a new high school, right? That new high school was supposed to be the new reform school to replace the old one because it was old. And so what ended up happening was they not only did not do that, they just created a gigantic new high school, cut the regions up in a very awkward way because I actually lived on the border of it. And they gave that school all the funding and new technology and everything. Like my school was supposed to get tablets for their library so people could read on the tablets instead of the books because the books were getting old. We didn't get that until 3 years after I graduated. That was promised freshman year. Yet their school not only had had a McDonald's and a Subway in it, it also had clap on, clap off lights, and their auditorium looked like a movie theater.
Yeah, so it's
So
not so much the issue that it's not so much the issue the government isn't trying to pay it back. It's they're so inefficient, and of course we don't know what kind of corruption is going on, so money's getting funneled everywhere else. But a lot of the problems is it's so inefficient on managing and spending money.
Yeah, 100%. Which is again is really unfortunate. Oh, but it's not my problem. I mean, it is my problem, but it's
I want to ask you guys something. Side tangent. It's based on a manga I'm reading. That's becoming an anime for the first time called Dan to Dan. It brings up a very interesting debate. Now, think of all of humanity. What do you think would terrify humanity more? Finding out aliens are real or finding out supernatural things are real?
Supernatural
um,
things.
yeah, supernatural.
The life and death
Like,
aspect versus the higher intelligence aspect.
listen, if aliens
Higher
want to come down
intelligence.
and if aliens want to come down and nuke me, sweet. That there's that. But if there's something in
What?
my home that's ethereal, that is incorporeal, that has
And
power, that has influence, that I
malicious.
yeah, that I don't have, that I cannot stop or have any influence over, no matter what I do because of its nature. That's a lot more terrifying. Like, sweet,
And then
this
if you
alien
die,
can
it's
bleed.
gonna do something with your supernatural
Yeah.
superimposed dimensional being or whatever.
And so I'm like,
So
okay, that's terrifying.
So you okay? So on that note, would you rather it be like that, or would you rather it be like Gats? Gats is another manga and anime and live action where there are no supernatural; it's all alien based. But the aliens are so far advanced and powerful they can't be perceived as gods. Because one bigger thing is that in the last chapters of the manga, they actually show how strong they are. They can recreate life and immediately destroy it in the instance of a whim. The people who actually gave them the technology to fight back against other aliens. So, would you rather
I prefer
supernatural
that.
things? Would you rather supernatural things be real, or would you rather be aliens are the supernatural beings themselves? They're the ones. They're just far powerful, all powerful.
Again, I think it's how do I say this? Any civilization with significant advances will look like magic compared to one that isn't. Like, if we were in the Middle Ages and we showed somebody a phone, or we showed them technology, it's very possible that we'd just be killed because of witchcraft, right? Because how do you describe that kind of thing? How could I tell somebody that lived in the year 700 that I have a small rectangular device that I usually put in my pocket, that at any given time I can touch it and find out almost any information that I want to? Like, like, how can they grasp that? Like, how can you just be like, "Oh, I understand that," because, like, with what can they have to to compare that to? You know what I mean?
Even try to have an understanding.
Yeah, it's like you can try, but, like, how?
So,
Like,
oh, go ahead, Evan. Finish.
no, no, that was it.
Uh,
That was my TED talk of the day.
with a lot of animes that I've seen, a lot of books I've seen, the supernatural world is always there. It's just in hiding.
Well, I mean, you have to think about it like normally that's what they would show, is that the supernatural world is just in hiding anyways. Oops.
I am in hiding. The world will never see me.
The world can't see me. I am hiding from it.
It will never know the things that I bring.
No, the supernatural world's there. It doesn't need to be proven true. It's definitely there. It's just whether or not you're looking. It's just like you find what you're looking for. That little truth that is just kind of a thing.
It,
It's there.
cause
It's
I
just
oh, heaven. No,
no. I was just saying, it's just there.
I was saying because in most books and most literature, they're hiding because they're like humans. are racist, vile creatures.
That's why the supernatural is hiding because of racism.
Well, in most books, it's like they always say the same shit. People fear what they do not understand. What would and then like I say like give vampires for instance. Vampires hide from sometimes in literature. Vampires hide from humans just because they don't want to be persecuted. Like humans have persecuted themselves in the past. Stuff like that. So do you
But
think?
how is that racism?
Well, sorry. Well, well. Okay, I'll say discrimination, not racism.
Segregation, discrimination.
There you go.
It's just racism is just a weird word to use for that.
True.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
And I think Neil deGrasse Tyson also said the same thing about aliens. He said maybe there are aliens out there, and they've already looked at us, and they don't like us. They're scared of us because they want to come down and talk, but they look at what we do to each other, and they're like they don't want that to be done to them because they're peaceful and they think we're not.
Maybe. Maybe.
Outside looking in, I guess.
Well, yeah, because again, there's the whole like, how do you mm, how do you back up those statements? That's
I
what I
think
kind
he
of think.
I think he'll probably go on to probability.
Okay, I can see
Well,
As space is infinite and, as chances may be very slim, but as it approaches infinity, it's gonna happen.
Drake
that is
equations, I
true.
guess. I would also
That
say
is true.
what I forget the name of that island. The island off the coast of India. It's the one with the very preserved culture. No technology's ever touched it. No one's ever touched it. It's been completely untouched by outside society, and it's still very primitive. And the government's protecting it. They're hostile towards us on principle. Just when people show up, they are ready to attack. So that's another
Um,
thing you could use.
yeah, yeah,
That seems a little different because it's probably biased in the sense that a society that has been untouched to today after all these years is probably untouched because they're unfriendly and they don't go beyond themselves to explore what is beyond.
yeah.
From what they study, because they have landed a few different times to try to communicate ish. It's just the fact that they just never got to that point where like they don't even know how to make boats. Apparently when they landed there for the first time with their airplanes, they thought the airplanes were like these mystical things. They had never seen them before. So when they came back, they were like, "What is this? Oh, the gods are back."
Uh, yes, but the fact that they can't make boats might be partly because they never reached out to other societies. They never had an open mind on exploration to even have the inspiration to build a boat. So
Well,
it's
what
a
about the
very
other way?
close-minded aspect that probably contributes to the fact that they have been untouched and primitive all these years.
I was gonna say, what about the other way around? It could not. It could be that they were so secluded that no one even found them. Like they could not map out to come to us, or like they weren't
And when
discovered
we found them,
until yeah, we found them after we had airplanes. But
yeah,
before then, no one even knew about them.
yeah, but we can't approach them because they'll just murder because they're closed-minded.
Hmm. Well, yeah, because there's also this superstition stuff, like right, like and again, like it's it's scary to find something that I don't understand and that is very beyond me. That's so alien to me, right?
Yes.
Like, and so like no wonder like some of these tribes are like, hey, don't contact them because they're oh my gosh, they're not they're not good. Like you don't know, it's preservation then.
Yeah, they have a
Like they're
self-preservation.
preserving themselves, yeah. Because like I don't know what this is, I don't know what's going on. Like we should
But
probably stay away from it.
closed-mindedness does contribute to self-preservation aspects, because you look at racist, families that are still racist today. It's probably out in the boonies, out in the country, where people are closed-minded and they don't want people expanding because they're going to take over farmland with cities and such. So it's probably similar aspects when it comes to kind of that political mindset or
Yeah,
social mindset, I'll say. It's a closed-mindedness. Closed-mindedness helps severely with self-preservation, but it does not help at all with advancement, progression, and exploration.
yeah, I can see that too. Um, what was I gonna say? So
How
one
would
of the what, huh?
you go?
No, I was just gonna say one of the things that I find interesting. So I studied a lot bit on like the Aztecs, the Olmecs, Mayans, and the Incans, and everything like that. Just because I
Olmec?
find that, yeah, have you heard of the Olmecs?
I've heard of Olmec the Tiki Head, but from the game
No,
show
the
on
Olmec.
Nickelodeon.
So no, so the Olmec people, so when you talk about ancient South and North America or Central America, there are certain names that come across that everyone's most a lot of people have heard of Aztecs, a lot of people have heard of Mayans and Incans. Those were the more um, modern type or modern era ancient,
Developed.
yeah, peoples, but then there was one that they got a lot of their stuff from, and they call them the Olmecs. And so, like a lot of these temples, a lot of the things that these, the later tribes like the Aztecs gained their stuff from were from the previous generations. Like who was it? Was it Magellan? Whenever he was, so there's a couple of like things in Magellan's journals that whenever he was sailing around, that he would say that there are cities everywhere that he can see the buildings from the coastline, but they didn't want to go there. He said that they're populated. They're everywhere. It's very interesting when you kind of think about like how possibly advanced some of these other civilizations were that were very very far in the past. Like think about the Egyptians,
Very,
right?
very
Like
good.
they're incredibly advanced, and so a lot of the stuff we just don't have from them. And so like they but whenever they encountered a new culture, so I'll use Cortez, right? They thought Cortez was God. And there's reasons for that. It wasn't just because he had shiny armor. There's definitely other reasons for that. But you have to think about like, okay, this person looks different. The way their beard grows is different. Their heights are different. Their skin colors are different. Their
The way they
language
talk
is
is different.
different. Yeah, everything about them is different. Um, and they bring things that are different. We have this amazing technology, for us, but the technology, the way technology develops, it doesn't develop the same way in a vacuum, right? There's certain things that do have to develop the same way. Like we all have to eventually find the wheel, but other than that, it's like look at certain video games. Look at Fallout. That's a good example. Fallout, you'd have this different type of technology, but it stayed in the 60s, like the whole culture did. But that's just there. Like how would other places, if left in seclusion, have evolved? There's certain things that you have to kind of go through that are like milestones that everybody has to go through. But other than that, all the technology changes. And so whenever those cultures meet together, depending on how they've developed, they will have like some serious like perceptions of that culture that they encounter. Oh, that was a mouthful.
Yeah. Uh,
Culture clash. Clash of
Yes.
the culture.
uh. So, Heaven, we talked about
Yes.
superstition. Do you believe superstition can protect more than it hurts?
What do you mean?
It's like the
What do you mean by
So superstition can cause a person to have that fear response, which can sometimes save your life. But at what point is it too much? Like, what time do you fear everything to the point where you don't even want to interact with it because of your superstitions?
um I think that's largely So what point do you? So what you're saying is like, at what point do your superstitions protect you from something?
versus at what point does it keep you away from what's important?
I
Example,
don't
Yeah,
go.
I
give
don't
me an
think we can
example.
properly answer that, but go on with the example.
Okay, so I love studying like ancient world mythology and all that. In India, there is a temple, and behind very giant doors is supposedly treasure and everything. Now, to Hindu lore, all the doors are to remain shut because there's treasure behind it, but supposedly if you are not worthy, if you open the doors, you will unleash complete damnation. Now, when in modern day, supposedly, if you go up to the door, all you hear is just monstrous noises coming from it. Now, to the people around the area in superstition, that is the evil that you don't want to release. To scientists, they think that it's actually a water trap. If you open the door, the rivers around the area will flood towards you and cause your death. So it's like, at what point do you want to actually explore and see what it really is, or do you want to stay afraid and keep the superstition behind?
So there's different types of superstition, right? Like there's superstition that's this kind of there's superstition that's paranormal. There's superstition that's cultural, and then there's superstition that is it can be put in place to control. Because superstition can do both, right? Like, oh, there's a ghost over there at this house. And that's not true. That's just trying to take advantage of the fact that people are afraid of the unknown and they don't want them to go messing with the house because there's stuff that they don't want them to steal there, you know? And so I think that it goes along the lines of at what point does virtue become vice? Um, it's a very fine line, and like Kyle said, was like it's very difficult to even determine that line because it's never static. It's always changing and different. If
Would
that makes
would
sense.
No, it does. Now, with that door, for instance, if you were in front of it, given who you are, for both of you, if you did not know what's behind there, be it gold or demons or rapid waters, would you risk opening the door?
At some
Because
point,
it
I
was
think I
making
would.
noise,
What did you say, Heaven?
and it's just because it's making noise, you say?
They don't know what the noise behind it is, and the government refuses to touch it because of lots of things. And to anyone who's a scientist that's coming to visit, it sounds like rapid waters. But
I think that
to
there's safe ways to open the door. Like if I don't know what's behind the door, sweet. I'm gonna stand back a ways and I'm gonna open it from there.
let me
Send in a
And then
robot.
let me
yeah,
get a picture
problem
of the
solved.
door.
So like yeah, that's what I would do. But to be afraid of something like that, like oh, if I open this door, I'm gonna have such bad luck, and there's gonna be a curse that's upon my family and I. Like
Oh, I'd
right,
open it.
like yeah, it's just like well, then you get into like the whole thing of like can people get because like superstition must inevitably go towards paranormal at some point in time. And when I say paranormal, I'm not meaning necessarily ghosts, but I'm meaning something beyond human capabilities.
All right,
My
so
curiosity, my arrogance would make me open it in that case, on the
I
simple
would open
fact that if it was supernatural or paranormal, I would have the thought of, well, what can it do to me? And then I would have the thought of, is it malice? And I just won't know until I open the door, and my curiosity will get to the better of me, and I'll just kind of stave off any doubt of fear and just turn that off in my brain and just be like, okay, I'm just gonna do it.
so I look into the
it.
podcast discussion. I'm
Exactly.
going to show you the name of this. I know how to say it. I want to see if you guys can say it.
Padmanabha Swami?
Holy shit. Okay. Kyle.
Padmana Baswami.
Swami. It's weird. Kudos to both of you, though. You said that right. That is the name of the
I
temple.
mean, it's pretty straightforward.
You would be so surprised.
Now the newest doctor's name, that is not straightforward.
No, it's not. We're not going to talk about that right now.
The newest doctors, yeah.
Um,
Alright, so quick Google search.
oh, go for
Oh
it.
yeah, okay, I've seen this temple before.
It's beautiful, mind you. I would love to go visit it. So there are many vaults in this temple, all underground. And there are some that have been opened. There are some that have been completely closed for centuries, and there are some that they're trying to open now. I think the last time they opened one was in 2011. So it's temples like this that I'm like Kyle. I would be like, man, my curiosity. I'm gonna just nudge it open just a smidge.
Well, I'd open it anyways. I'd just open it like sweet. Like, well, what if something happens, to a person that's super super close? Sweet, that I'm gonna get a 30-foot stick and prod the door open, right? From far away. So if you're afraid of temporal consequences, that's one thing. But if you're afraid of like
Structural.
spiritual or like other kind of consequences, that's different too. So like there's two different things. This one here doesn't seem as much like the incorporeal negative stuff as much as is like, oh, what if it's water and it literally floods the area? Sweet. If I just drill a hole in the side of the temple, that water's gonna drain. Like, I don't know. It is just a building. So if you were to just to if you were just to send a missile into that building, is whoever sends the missile and destroys the building going to be cursed? Or does the
So
curse die with the building?
So now
with
we're talking about this very distanced. Now, what if you walked in there and you actually had an unexplainable tingle on the neck, so to say, that just
That'd be
seemed very, very full of uh,
like
malicious intent?
King Tut's curse, I'm already there. Might as well keep going.
um. So if that's what I kind of felt, then that's a little bit of discernment that I'd probably be like, okay, maybe I should step away a little bit because
Bring a little
no ancient
sage.
no ancient treasure is worth my life. Like no piece of ancient gold is worth my life. And that's just kind of what I feel. And so if like I'm feeling I don't know, like my spider senses are tingling and I'm feeling like this is probably not the best thing for me to be around, then I'd probably listen to that. Not because I'm afraid of what might happen, but because I need to pay attention to those things that those instincts that I have as a human. That's just
So
my opinion
So
though.
I don't think it would be treasure that I would be valuing that against. It would be the mystery that I'd want to explore. Would
No,
that
I
be
get
worth my life?
mm,
so here's the thing about it. The history, it's only one vault. Vault B. When they originally attempted to open it, the people who were on the other side of the door said they heard the sound of rushing waves. And they got scared and drew back. And then years later, a group of robbers, as they would, tried to open it. But then apparently snakes started to emerge from the surrounding areas and they ran away from it. So people since then have said that the door is protected by the gods
Where there is
and
water, there is life.
snakes, apparently. Because there are actual, if you look at the door in pictures, there are actual snakes carved into the door. So people are saying that if you open the door, it will only bring misfortune or bring you rushing water and death. But that treasure though,
Is it 100% certain? Uh,
everyone in the country is too scared to open it.
well, I'm just saying, is it well documented and for sure that snakes actually came pouring out of this thing, or is that something that is word of mouth?
That was the word of the robbers who ran away from it. If
Mm.
they
The
actually
word of mouth.
found the snakes, then yeah, sure. But since that time, no one has ever tried to open it.
Sounds like they
Uh,
need to send a loud American to open it.
and the government won't touch it. So, well, you try to have fun trying to fight the Indian government. Go for it.
I'll fight the Indian government.
You don't need to
What?
fight the Indian government when you're just opening the door. Just go open the door before they even realize it.
I don't know what
That's
happened.
what a loud American would do.
I just kind of appeared, and then the door opened all on its own.
I didn't realize it was the bad touch door.
Oh my gosh. The bad touch door. That's funny. No, I wouldn't be afraid of that. I would just be like, let's open it and let's understand it. Cause like that like what's his name? Travis Ballingham? Is that his name? He's the one that's been working on Skinwalker Ranch. He's worked with NASA and stuff like that. And the whenever they're kind of talking about UFOs and this unexplained stuff, and he's very much a logical mind. And so a lot of the ranch hands are kind of afraid. They're like, well, what if there's just some portal that opens up, you know? And Travis was like, listen, if there's some portal that's opened up, I'm gonna go jump through that because I want to understand what's going on.
Portal's fun.
I know, it's like,
I
well, you
played the
could die.
game.
Sweet. Then I'll figure it out on the other side. I'm like, oh, that actually spaghettifies me. Sweet. I now know that I shouldn't do that. It was the last thing I found out in life, but it doesn't matter now. So
Because
like
now
that's
I
what
am
I'd
the
be.
flying spaghetti monster.
Honestly though. No, I would spaghettification complete. That actually sounds awful. Spaghettification. Oh,
Oh, for black holes and bullshit?
no, like if there's a portal, you never know. Like let's say, like, I don't know.
That's
But
what Neil deGrasse Tyson said about what would happen if a black hole showed up. We would be spaghettified. We would stretch into pieces.
you know that they've made black holes on Earth, right?
They were small and contained, and using something that we don't. Well, the Higgs Hadron Collider, but
So
they were.
have you heard of Hawking radiation?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the black holes are never gonna really be a threat. I mean, if the star turns into a black hole, sweet. But anything that we have technologically available to create a black hole, Hawking radiation dictates that it will immediately. Sorry, I just swallowed my own spit. But Hawking radiation dictates that it'll immediately expend all of its energy, so it won't ever be a problem for us. It isn't big enough to sufficiently spaghettify us. But it would be cool.
I like to be spaghetti.
I wanted to show this real quickly. Thank you. Jesus. Hold on, I have to screenshot because it's one of those things. Love it. That is the door, by the way. That's what the door looks like.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that door.
Now, funny enough,
It
I
does
was
have a
reading.
fleur-de-lis.
I was reading into the article about the last time they tried to open it. They tried to open it in 2012, and apparently they got past. They went into the door, got to another door. Each one made of different materials, and then when they got to the last door, which is made of pure iron, they couldn't open it. And when they attempted to open it, the Supreme Court apparently shut them down for religious sentiment.
So it's just a religious thing then. They're just like, no, and so they're elevating
This,
whatever made this to a religious order.
yeah, at that point, yeah, either the religious figureheads are too scared because they don't want the wrath of anything, technically it'd be the wrath of Vishnu coming for them, or they're just like, please, it is a part of our sacred stuff. Don't touch, because those they ripped open apparently those first two doors, no problem. And that last door, that's when they were like, nope, stop. Also,
How
from
big
those
is that
two,
door?
it's massive.
Because I see people like on the outline of it. Interesting design, like climbing up the door frame. Like you see that in that picture, right?
Yeah, I don't know if those are smaller people though, or if that door is literally that big.
That's what I was wondering.
Well,
Those
the
have to
act
be smaller people.
the actual
But
temple
for it to
itself
last,
is go for it.
they have to be smaller people because if those were people sized, then people would just walk through the holes on the side that are having ooze.
We call that
Yeah,
whatever the hell the
100%.
water is. Like this is what the temple looks
I
like on the outside.
kind of wish I could have my front door to look like that.
You thought, man, we'll get cursed for having such.
Okay, I'm looking at some of those mysteries unsolved. Listen, if there's a door that's made of iron, I assure you that they can get through it.
No, they can't get through it. It's just that they were stopped.
Yeah, and I think
Not
that
by the
the stop
government.
thing is
Yeah,
like
they were stopped by the government.
yeah, that seems more like a religious kind of like, oh, we don't know this, and so therefore, since it's unknown, it must be something that we probably want to keep sacred. Or they've actually gone in and there's nothing in there, and they want to create a buzz, and so they want to they've spread this rumor to mystify this area and bring more attention to their country
We talked about
because
that,
to
like
make something
with the Vatican
mystic is
archives.
well, yeah, to make something mystic is to elevate something beyond a status that they would normally have, right? Like, let's say that someone's really sick, and so someone came over to see him, and they're just there, and they give him a hug, and they're just kind of stroking their head, like, listen, can I just say a prayer, and I just hope that you're okay, and they get better, right? And one person's like, "Oh yeah, they were just so sick, and then for some reason, when this one individual came over, they said a prayer, they were healed." Do you see how quickly that can spin? And this person that just went over there over happenstance and was just trying to be a good person can all of a sudden be mystified and elevated because of something that was pure coincidence. So let's say that's just kind of show the power that mysticism has to elevate the status of something. So let's say they get through this iron door, there's nothing there. Actually, no. We decide that we're not going to go in there. That just it was too sketchy, and all of a sudden, everybody there that's already pretty superstitious, suddenly this temple is a lot more important and significant in whatever like they believe.
Uh, Kyle, you weren't here for this, but me and Heaven had a discussion kind of like this. I was talking about what could possibly be in the Vatican archives, and the last part of the subject was there could just be absolutely nothing. There's no mystery to it. It's just their records, and that was the most likely scenario. And it's kind of like that. It's like the Vatican archives is this mysterious thing that the entire Roman Catholic Church keeps away from you. What could be in there? Nothing.
First thing I would think is just maps to old treasures that they just don't want the world to have.
So
Yeah,
supposedly the Vatican archives are just record keeping of their taxes, their monies, and everything. So it's just like,
I mean,
what
that
can
would
you?
make sense.
The Vatican archives. Oh, we just got the Pope on the holy tax evasion, but everyone's like, no, it has other things. It could have. I haven't. I think I told you that One of the things that we laughed about a little bit is that the Vatican archives could be housing the devil himself, and I was like, really now? The actual devil. But
Or a devil.
a devil. Depending on I think which version you're reading at, it could be the devil or a devil.
Shinigami.
That's not a
Oh,
devil.
makes me think of Bleach.
I was thinking Death Note, but we can keep going.
I was thinking Death Note as well.
I think of Bleach whenever I hear Shinigami.
The Soul Reapers. But what do you think, Kyle? Do you think it's actually nothing?
Most likely, yeah. Probably nothing. But the fact that they would keep it under wraps, there's probably I would think there's something incriminating against them that they wouldn't want out.
Or there's
If
something so bland and just like just nothing there that they don't want to let that reality be known and they'd rather keep the mysticism around it.
I think that's the way for most things. Like going off, veering off religion. Let's go to Area 51 for a second. That's all science fiction right there. If there's actually nothing there, it's just literally them testing technology, and they just don't want other governments to see what they're testing. Sure, I'd believe it. They keep it under wraps so much because it's their technology that they don't want the other governments to know. Like they just developed a super weapon. Why would we want the world to know what that is? We're gonna keep it right there. So what if it's literally there's no aliens, there's no supernatural stuff, there's no Roswell. It's just bam, technology that we've
Roswell
made.
didn't spell.
I love Roswell. The show
My
and
mom and my girlfriend really wants to go to Roswell.
why? Why am I even saying why? I already know why.
My mom loves aliens.
Yeah,
Kind of shocked me when Nancy said she really wanted to go too.
That is kind of funny, actually.
I
I
mean,
like that.
me and Kyle had a discussion yesterday over supernatural versus science. Well, fantasy versus science. I love science more than fantasy. Because as much as fantasy will let things like grow creatively, it's less. It's you don't need to explain it as much because it's like supernatural. That's kind of like a ground rule. I actually want it to be explained. I want it to have a reason for it. I don't want there to be
All
like
fantasy
there's a
can be
god.
explained.
There's a god, so that's the reason why it exists. Not so much so technology or science.
Well, even then, like God still would operate on laws. Always, right? There are laws that we don't there's certain tiers of laws, right? And so let's like if with God, he's so far beyond us that he understands certain things, certain laws that he still functions by, right? So he's not doing anything magic. He's obeying the laws that exist, but he knows so much more and understands so much more of it that he can understand that law. Like, for example, there are certain laws to the human body. Who was it? I think it was Russell M. Nelson. He's a heart surgeon, and he was kind of talking about this. He revolutionized heart surgery. Like back 30, 40 years ago, we didn't know certain things about heart surgery, and he was kind of thinking about it like there is a law to the human body that if obeyed, there's certain consequences from obeying that. And so if the heart isn't functioning in certain ways, then if I just figure out the law that this part of the heart is operating by and then I act accordingly, I can do certain procedures. And then he figured it out. And all of a sudden made a step up in how heart surgeries go. Now, as we continue to advance in that, there's other laws that we're going to find out too. Like, oh, if you do X, Y will happen. Well, what if that X is if you do this, the heart will never die? And so that's if that's a law, if that's a truth, then like it makes complete sense. And so you can actually understand the quote unquote ununderstandable, right? Because if they are working on laws, then it's only logical that you could come to understand a law. At least I think. But I could be crazy. I don't know. Sometimes I have that little twitch that just makes me kind of twitch.
Y'all think me crazy. Um. So with that, I'll put it like this. Uh, are we governed by the three laws? Not the three laws of robotics. We're not Kyle. Um, love you, Kyle.
Kyle's not governed by the three laws of robotics. Kyle is
How do you
beyond
know?
them. You know what? You're right. I actually don't know. It's very possible that you might be.
A robot.
I may
No,
have
we.
broke those laws for all you know.
What? You're not Asmonov
How do you know?
Yeah.
because you're
Have
not
you
a
met him?
crazy.
How does any of
Because
us
you're
know?
not dead.
I'm not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
Guys, I love Monty Python.
Bring
Monty
out the
Python's so
dead.
We all love Monty Python. You must love Eismanoff. Not those three laws. It's the three laws of supposedly all creation. There is life, there is death, but you will also age. No matter how long you are alive, you will still age, and then you will die eventually. There is no overcoming that. To overcome that would to either break your own reality or to ascend to what is higher. So first, do you guys think those laws are concrete? Everything must live, age, and die, regardless of how long it is.
everything lives. So what are the three laws exactly? Let's write those down.
You
What are
are
they?
born, so at some point you are breathing, you are alive, your spirit is there. And for whatever seconds or minutes or years that happens, comes the next law. You're aging. Because even as a child, you're still aging for a couple seconds to a couple months to a couple years. And then at certain points, you will die, regardless of how long, how fast, or how slow it took.
Okay.
Define
So what?
you. Because
Yeah.
technically every cell in your body gets replaced, probably because it's died or at some point. Because your body is an ecosystem. And parts of that ecosystem can fail because parts of it failed and wasn't able to replenish properly.
But if it is, technically it could go on eternally, right? Because it's
Yeah.
regenerating.
Yeah.
We're not Doctor Who here, but still, well, the cells don't reproduce forever. Like eventually, they will
Yeah,
They
stop.
because
can
they
they
fail in the
can
replication.
technically. Yeah,
Yeah,
like the human heart can beat indefinitely if its cells don't fail to replicate.
Well, not it'll replicate. It'll fail to replicate properly. It'll have
Yeah,
a deformity in
properly.
that replication.
Yeah, if it
That's
doesn't
what
do it
cancer
properly.
is.
Yeah.
The
Curse you,
failed replication.
cancer. I think I think it's very hard to talk about this without thinking about like the more like religious side of things personally. Because like yes, people live and they die, and there's always death. But like if your soul is eternal, that like that begs other questions with it. You live and you die. So if we're in a temporal sphere, is there a spiritual sphere too? Is there a reason why we're here? And it gets to those other big kind of questions. Is the design for, let's say that there is a designer or a creator, right? Let's just if there is, well, what have they been designing, right? Is mortality built in to be like, okay, we are going through life and we age and we die because this life is a test and there's more beyond it. Like as if everyone were to just survive indefinitely, then there be any progress according to that plan? And so that
I've heard
I mean,
about that.
I'm just putting that as like a supposition, right? Like a perhaps, and so that there's other aspects to that. Like, because like we're just in an imperfect world. If there was a perfect world, if there was perfection, true perfection, then those laws wouldn't really exist, right? Like it's the
So
kind of thing like do we exist before we become us? As
so I
our
have a bit
souls,
of a
yeah.
thought experiment for you guys.
Okay.
Say we do perfect the aging process and our cells, every cell of our body is able to perfectly replicate every time indefinitely. So essentially we can live forever.
Woohoo!
But our brains can only contain so much data, meaning there is a limit to how much life you can live, a limit to how much experience you can have before you get capped out and you're going to have mental issues. You're not going to be able to function properly because your brain is oversaturated with just what it's trying to store.
Okay.
Now we move forward and we say, okay, the way we deal with this is we dump your memories, maybe save it somewhere else so you can start new, so you can start fresh. Are you
Ooh.
still the same person?
Okay, that's the Soma. That's the Soma. Soma, the video game. They did that exact. That's the entire premise of the game. Is you got this? The main character finds out that all of humanity has transcended their consciousness into data and put it somewhere else, and turns out the main character has already done this multiple times. The ending is what makes it perfect because he does that in order to save himself, but it turns out only a copy of himself goes to where they need to be, and the other copy remains. So at that point, who was the original? Because his original self died. But now you have this one. And because the original self is dead, is now this the new original, or is this a new, or is this a copy? And then he makes another
So
copy. Go.
this thought experiment is not about who is the original, who is the copy. It's more so uh, when you dump all your memories, are you a new person? Could you have a new name? Do you have a new spirit? Do you have a new soul? Are you
You
just completely different?
like the boat paradox?
Kinda, yeah,
Mm,
Okay.
I think
but
that
not really.
well, you could look at this like in a different way too. Like so is the heaven of 10 years old a different person from the heaven of 40 or 50 years old?
You would have to
I'd say
answer that
yes.
one, but
And
maybe.
I would say yes too. I'm I'm a different person, but am I still the same essence?
You're derived from the same person.
Yes, and so my essence is the same, but I have molded and adapted and changed. Um, and that's part of it's like the maturing process. Like you look at alcohol, right? There's a maturing process in alcohol. Is it still the same liquid? Yes, it's a derivative, but it's fundamentally changed, so it's different yet it's the same. And so like if you have a whole bunch of thoughts and then they're all just gone, like me, right? Like sweet, I have all these memories and experiences that have made who I am and my decisions. And let's say it's just memory wiped and I change. Well, if there's something in me that always stays static, like I like kids, right? So my little girl, she's a blank slate, right? Well, maybe because she has a personality. Why do children who are very much blank slates have personalities? Is there something in them that is a baseline for how they act and who they are? Right? They're like so like if I were just to wipe little Ozer's memories, right? Like she doesn't even have any right now, yet she has a personality. Like she has had a personality since she came out of the womb. Like whenever they delivered her and they put her on Bronte, like, she's had a personality. It's there and it starts to come out. Well, where's that personality coming from? It's not coming from anything that I've done. It can't be from these shared life experiences. She hasn't had any, right? And so
Aside
like
from her experiences in the womb.
exactly. And so like the I think the aerial thought experiments it hits on some very deep things because they're like I don't think they're either or. You know, I think they're mutually inclusive. I think that if you have all your memories wiped, you're going to act different, you're going to see things differently, but there's going to be something at the very baseline, the very
Very
essence of
core,
you.
like
Yeah,
the
the very
DNA memory.
yes, that is very much you. And you're going to still be prone to certain things because there's something deeper inside you that is. You know
So
what I mean?
so on that, would I still be Kyle, or would like the next iteration of me be known as Kyle B
The
version? Like, would
destroyer.
we still say Kyle, or would we say it's an entirely different person because he can develop in a completely different way?
Well, the Kyle I know might not be the Kyle that is then, but you'd still be Kyle. You'd be a different Kyle, though.
So it'd be Kyle version B.
Yeah, because you're different. Of a necessity, you'd have to change. It's the question of if you were born and grew up in China versus if you were born and grew up in Brazil, would you be a different person?
Yes.
100%, right? But then like you're still you, but you're based on your it's a very hard question. It's nature versus nurture kind of thing.
I
Like
think I
they're
think on
having to
like
be connected.
if if society were to ever reach a point where that would be a question, I think there would be the first name would be a completely different name, and then you would have your middle name almost be like a model.
I can
Like
see that.
like model Ford. Like middle name is Ford because my body is what that is, and then the first name would be what I develop to be, what I want to de- create, what I want Kyle to be,
Mm.
and the influences that get pushed onto that. But it's being built onto this Model Ford Kyle. Here I come.
I want to be a Lotus Elise.
Oh well, you know what? I'm
And
just gonna be a mixture of you two. I'm just gonna put both your names together. I'm gonna be Kevin. I'm allowed to say your name, your first name.
Sure.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna be Jeremy Tibbs.
Oh, that's what you're meaning. I literally thought you were gonna just squish both of our first names into one, and I was like, how is he gonna do
No,
that?
no, I'm taking your first name and his last name because I don't like the name Kyle. Sorry, Kyle.
I like the name
well,
Kyle.
you'll go with the middle name then. I'll go with James.
I am not the Bible.
But
What?
another
The
thought
King James
occurred
Bible.
when you brought up the boat paradox. So this
Yeah.
scenario is not exactly the boat paradox, but there is a comparison with that. You can take the same boat and different crews, pretty much different crew running that same boat. I
Yeah,
think that would
but
be a better
change
comparison
it.
True. Basically, every
because
Pirates of the
they'll have to
Caribbean movie.
operate the boat the same way, but each crew will operate differently because of it's a different crew.
Hmm. Yep, I can see that.
So I would see that comparison being a better comparison.
So before we continue, I have two things to ask. One, Kyle, what point do you need to stop? Because it's almost one my time.
Probably need to stop pretty much as soon as we can because I need to go take a shower and get ready for Nancy to
Then
come over.
we'll you know on the dot we'll keep going till 1 till 12 your time till 11 his time. Yes, we're all in different time
So
zones.
to so 6 minutes longer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
The next question would be, did you guys enjoy talking about? We basically went along with this pretty well, and I think it went pretty good. Do you want to actually do one of our defined topics next time, or do you actually want to try this again? Like actually just topic to topic to topic? Because I think we talked about at least 12 of them.
I don't mind. Either one works for me. I'm a chatterbox, so I can do
So,
either. Or.
so if we do a predefined topic, we need to sit down and elaborate on questions to make it structured. Otherwise, freeform thoughts like this wouldn't be too bad.
Reform jazz. Because I kind of wanted to talk about the thing I posted, not Evil Doors. I posted it yesterday. I don't want to talk about him specifically. I just want to talk about the subject that's going on with why I posted that in the first place. Because
If that's the case, then yeah, I agree with Kyle though. Like that, it would be a lot easier to structure that out. So
Yeah,
like,
we'll have to structure sentences or questions that we'd want to go through to stay on task rather than just go wherever we want to go.
to the moon and
yeah,
back.
that would be easiest. Personally, that would be easiest.
And if you were to want to fit it into 2 hours, we'd just kind of have to do it until we get a feel for how many questions we'd have to ask
I mean, we won't be.
if
I
you want to
mean,
structure it.
Heaven, when is the next time you're gonna be home? In 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, so I'm gone.
Like, so we
This
have a
next
defined
weekend.
date.
This next weekend I am gone, and the weekend after that I am gone. Then I should be home forever. So the first, well, okay. So
20th, 27th.
yeah, I'm there. I'm there. Then the first through the 5th of August, I'm not here, and then I'm home. Those are the only things that I have that's just randomly the next month is stupid busy for zero reason at all. But
20th or the 21st might be the best bet. 27th, I know the new Deadpool movie's coming out, and I want to go see that.
Oh,
Definitely
I'm
wanna go
seeing
see
that. Yeah, we're gonna go see that. Yeah, everyone's gonna go see that. I demand it all. Heaven, take your family.
oh, I that I'm not gonna take my little daughter to Deadpool.
Why not?
Why not?
She's
You can show a true romance.
that is not appropriate for her.
Heaven, she's not even one yet. I doubt she'll understand what a sword is.
You know what?
Or a cup shot.
Things imprint. Things imprint, and I will not do that to her.
Well, okay, here's the thing. If in 10 years, sorry, in 12 years, she goes to school and gives someone a cup shot, call me, I'll pay for the damages. Otherwise.
I don't think I'm gonna do that even then. I wanna make sure that she is when she's older. We can watch those kind of things, but that we need to wait till then at least.
I'll put it like this. When my child is at least able I'll put it like this. When they can spell it, they can watch it.
They can spell it. They can watch it.
Yeah, if they want to watch Interstellar, they need to spell it first.
What if they want to watch it?
Go for it. Have fun. Watch the nightmare
No,
that ensue.
he brings up a very good point, actually. Dad, I want to spell it. I want to see it. Why you have to spell it? IT crap.
See, because it's like
Well, guess we'll watch it.
it's the fast
Deal with
food
nightmares
argument.
later.
If your child wants like McDonald's, tell them to spell McDonald's. They can spell McDonald's fully. We'll go watch it. I mean, we'll go eat it and watch it.
If my kid wants McDonald's, I'm just gonna take him to McDonald's because I love them.
That's money. That's a gas money. And unlike Kyle, who will feed their child chicken sandwiches because they'll be like, "I'm so proud of you right now." That's money.
You know, to be honest, I was talking to Nancy, but I'm going to be trying my hardest to make sure that actual food that stays in the house is nutritious. If you bring a bag of chips into the house, you either throw it away or finish it.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
It's not, but for some
'Cause
reason,
empty calories is a huge problem here in America,
yes,
and it needs to
100%.
be addressed.
But for some reason, when you said that, I immediately thought of, nutritious, healthy family. But then there's Kyle in the cupboard sneaking that spicy chicken sandwich he just got at 3 a.m.
Hey, I need that. That's my nutrition.
Yeah.
It has spicy and it has chicken. What else do I need?
You could just make it healthy. But no, you need those empty carbs.
Honestly, it would probably become healthy if I just don't eat the bread.
That sauce alone probably has more carbs than that goddamn. It probably has more calories than that damn bread. The sauce alone.
I don't know. I don't know on that one.
I think bread has a lot of calories in it.
It does have a lot of calories.
American bread has a lot of calories.
So does anything South American. That's why everyone in South America gets really fat after a certain age. Because they.
I'm sorry,
they
Argentina.
eat bread. No, it's a thing, and they know it too.
I know,
That's
but I still
probably
love you,
delicious.
Brazil and
So
Peru.
yummy. So dang yummy. I freaking love it.
I don't
Anyways,
care
you
about
probably have to
Bolivia.
get going, right?
That actually reminds me. We need to add this to the discussions.
And there's also going to be time to
Potatoes versus the calorie deficit.
Ooh.
You know what? Add rice to that too.
And carbs versus the calorie deficit.
Because it's like it's the rice argument. I eat a lot of rice over my family, and you could say I'm probably the healthiest of them because they eat a lot of other empty carbs, and they always look at me as like, "Why do you eat so much rice?" It's good carbs. I like it.
It's delicious.
Well, I eat it plain, so that could be debated very heavily.
Nice.
I usually eat my rice with
anyways.
like something salty.
So how
Yeah.
will we do an outro is the question.
Well, we went with Heaven for intro, so we can do monotone outro.
Monotone outro? I gotta plan this.
I'm already excited.
But we also need a cue for an outro. What would that cue be?
I can literally just do it like Smosh. Cue outro.
I was gonna say I can make a little ding dong ding.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. All hail the algorithm.
Oh my gosh.
And he knows I upload this to YouTube too. Holy shit.
We all.
No. The outro is great. Heaven and Kyle, I need you to link me your Twitches and Heaven link me your YouTube so I can put them in the description of this video.
Okay. I'll do both.
You already know my Twitch. Twitch.tv/Crispin500.
That's not a shameless plug whatsoever.
Hey, I already put the outro.
Fine.
You're supposed to have ended it by then.
Fine, let's end the episode. I'm ending the episode.